पुरुषस्य रूपमधिकम् प्रच्छन्नगुप्तं धनम् विद्या भोगकरी यशः सुखकरी विद्या गुरुणा गुरुः विद्या बन्धुजनो विदेशगमने विद्या परं दैवतम् विद्या राजसु पूज्यते न तु धनम् विद्या विहीनः पशुः विद्या प्रशस्यते लोकैः विद्या सर्वत्र गौरवा विद्यया लभते सर्वम् विद्वान् सर्वत्र पूज्यते ज्ञानेन सदृशं पवित्रमिह विद्यते न हि ज्ञानेन सदृशं पवित्रमिह विद्यते न हि ज्ञानेन सदृशं पवित्रमिह विद्यते।
Dr. Jyotika Dhiren Chheda is an assistant professor in the Information Technology Department at Parle Tirak Vidyalaya Association's Mulund College of Commerce Autonomous since 2010. Her journey in the world of academia and technology is inspiring and impressive. She holds a BSc in Computer Technology and Masters in Computer Applications from Bhartihar University, Coimbatore. She secured 7th rank at the university level during her master's program. Additionally, she has successfully cleared her NET in computer science and went to earn a PhD in computer science in June 2022. Dr. Jyotika is contributing for BSc Information Technology and BSc Data Science students and sharing her extensive knowledge and passion for these fields. She has contributed as a course writer, preparing study material for the Institute of Distance and Open Learning at the University of Mumbai. Her work includes writing for subjects such as microprocessor architecture, computer network, and software project management. Her contributions extend beyond the classroom, impacting the broader academic and tech communities. She has published her research papers in renowned national and international journals. Her thesis is titled An Approach to Thwarting Attacks Based on the Use Cryptographic Suite for Concurrent Error Detection Schemes Using Hybrid Encryption Algorithm. Her doctoral research spanned 4.5 years and involved practical exploration of various available options within the field, focusing on computer and data security. Security attacks pose significant threats to system integrity. So, to counter this risk, she developed a hybrid cryptographic algorithm offering robust security measures. This algorithm enhanced image security through carefully designed cryptographic protocol, ensuring more reliable protection. So, welcome Vidya Vachaspati, Dr. Jyotika Dhiren Chheda.
Namaskar. Greetings for the day. I am Dr. Jyotika Dhiren Chheda. My sincere gratitude to the PTVA's management and our principal, Dr. Sonali Pednekar ma'am, for the opportunity to present my research work. I am also deeply grateful for the guidance provided by my coordinator and research guide, Dr. Hiren Dand. I completed my PhD in 2022 and my topic was An Approach to Thwarting Attacks Based on the Used Cryptographic Suite for Concurrent Error Detection Scheme Using Hybrid Encryption Algorithm. The internet is the most popular way to share and exchange information today. As the technology has advanced, digital media has become a common way to transfer information online. We see these digital files everywhere. social media, news sites, online stores, email, and ebooks. However, sharing digital content comes with a lot of challenges. So, to protect this data, various methods are used, which includes embedding and data hiding, cryptography, and steganography. People worry about issues like copyright, alteration, and authentication. So, in recent years, the tools and methods for protecting data, especially through cryptography, has become much more powerful and efficient. Cryptography is especially important for making sure that information stays secure, accurate, and efficient. Thanks to the advances in the technology like computers, communication systems, wireless networks, we have so many multimedia applications that make life easier and more fun. However, these multimedia apps become more popular, so do computer crimes, which creates serious challenges for keeping our information safe. To keep our data secure, it is important we use methods to reduce the weaknesses and defend against the various online threats. As the networking is growing, data is easily accessible and also the risk of being attacked. Protecting this data isn't a good idea anymore. It's something companies are legally required to do. So if the important information is stolen or compromised, it can seriously harm a company's ability to function. This is why businesses are under increasing pressure to protect their sensitive data. Nowadays, most of the information is in the form of multimedia, especially images, which bring unique challenges when it comes to keeping this data secure and ensuring it can be processed efficiently. Security attacks are very common. In fact, recent studies show that a computer in United States is hacked every 39 seconds. So when an attack happens, it harms thousands of people. So good security practice can not only protect your organization from these risks, but also help you to avoid the threats. That is why it is important to safe and secure methods of computing and networking to prevent these security attacks. Online data, which includes social media, creative work, and other digital products, is growing fast. So as we continue to innovate, we need new security algorithms to keep this data safe. These algorithms should adapt to the changes in the technology while also make sure that cryptography, a method of securing data, remains an essential tool. To protect the digital images specifically, techniques like cryptography, steganography are often used. However, there is a need for new, more efficient and secure hybrid methods to achieve better image security. So in the proposed research, a new hybrid approach is introduced to enhance the security of images. Cryptography is normally applied to textual data, which is a practice of converting the information into code. It can also be applied to images. However, images have unique characteristics that makes this process different from securing text. Number one, high redundancy and pixel correlation. Images often show repeated patterns and closely related pixels, which make them different from the text data. Number two, the large file size. Images have usually larger text files, which make the traditional encryption methods slow. So because of these differences, we need to consider special techniques when encrypting images compared to text. There are key differences between text data and the image data. Number one is the difference in data type. Text data can be represented as a 1D array, but images are represented as 2D array. So we need to convert 2D to 1D in order to apply any encryption technique. The second factor is decryption. Text is decrypted as a lossless decryption. But when we apply decryption technique to images, we always end up with lossy decryption, as we do not get an exact match with the original. It is always a close approximation. The third factor is efficiency. Images take so much space, so encrypting and decrypting them directly can be inefficient. So to make this process faster and save the storage space, we apply compression techniques in order to reduce the size of the image before encryption or decryption. So when we use an encryption algorithm on an image, the pixel value changes compared to the original image. So a good encryption method should make these changes in random so that the encrypted image looks very different from the original image. The human eye can recognize three different types of images. Number one, binary image. It is the simplest type of image which has only two colors, black and white. 0 represents black and 1 represents white. The second category of image is a grayscale image. This type of image shows different shades of gray. We use 2 bits to represent each pixel. 0, 0 would be black, 0, 1 would be dark gray, 1, 0 would be light gray, and 1, 1 would be white. The last category of image is a color image. They are more complex and made of 3 separate layers representing one of the primary colors, red, green, blue, and so they are typically called the RGB image. It can start with 4 bits and up to 24 bits can be used to represent the pixel information, allowing for a wide range of colors. So the goal of building a strong encryption algorithm is to make sure it meets several key requirements, which includes low correlation, large key space, key sensitivity, high entropy, and low time complexity. To encrypt and decrypt the images, we can apply both symmetric and asymmetric keys for the process. So the need I felt to do this research is that in today's world, with the high risk of cyber attacks, businesses, government agencies, and individuals all face severe security challenges. One area of concern is digital images, which is often large and heavy files. So I have chosen digital image encryption as my base of my study. Many traditional encryptions are too slow, especially when it comes to handling these large files in real time. So this makes it difficult to secure and transmit images quickly and safely. To be effective, the strong encryption algorithm should: number 1, retrieve the original pixels. 2, resist hacking. 3, encrypt quickly. 4, transmit fast. And 5, perfect decryption. For the image security systems, it is also important to consider scalability. That means different size of images. Number 2, perceptibility. The system should ensure the image looks without any noticeable errors. It should look much like the original one. And the third factor is error tolerability, where the system should handle small errors without compromising the entire image. So to address these 3 issues, scalability, perceptibility, and error tolerability, there is a need for better and more efficient encryption technique. So presenting my research objectives: to analyze the existing scheme of various hybrid encryption algorithms, to compare the various schemes in order to learn the shortcomings, to develop homomorphic encryption and integrate it with advanced encryption standard, to generate the keys for advanced encryption standard using a modified genetic algorithm, to measure the performance of the proposed algorithm based on peak signal to noise ratio, mean square error, and a comparative analysis with the existing algorithm. So in my research, I have used 3 key algorithms. So to begin with, number 1 is the advanced encryption standard algorithm. No matter the application, the AES is a reliable choice for creating secure systems. It is not only secure but very fast. AES can work with data blocks of 128-bit and uses key length of 128, 192 or 256 bits depending on the level of security needed. When encrypting or decrypting, AES goes through several rounds of processing. 10 rounds for 128-bit keys, 12 rounds for 192-bit keys, and 14 rounds for 256-bit key. The original data of 128-bit is broken down into 4 blocks which are arranged in a 4x4 matrix known as the state. The encryption and the decryption process begins with the step add round key, where the data is mixed with the key. In the main rounds, that is before the final round, the data undergoes 4 key transformations. Sub-bytes, where the specific bytes are replaced. Number 2, shift rows, where we move the rows in a matrix. Mix column, where the data is mixed as column side. And the last, add round key, where the data is again mixed with the key. In the final round, all transformations are applied except for mixed column. The decryption is simply the reverse of this process using the inverse versions of the transformations, such as inverse subbytes, inverse shift row, inverse mixed column, and inverse add round key to get back the original data. The second key concept in my research is homomorphic encryption. It is a special type of security algorithm used in many real-time applications to keep the data safe. What makes homomorphic encryption unique is that it allows data to be processed and manipulated while it's still encrypted without ever needing to reveal the actual data. This means that someone can perform calculations or operations on the encrypted data without knowing what the data is. You can add, multiply, or apply logical operations like AND, OR to the encrypted data, and the result would still be encrypted. Later, when the data is decrypted, we could get the correct result as if the operations were done on the original unencrypted data. So in short, the homomorphic encryption lets you to work with data securely, ensuring that its confidentiality is maintained throughout the process. The last key algorithm used in my research is genetic algorithm. It is a type of problem-solving technique inspired by the process of natural evolution. It's often used to find the best solution to complex problems in large search spaces, which means it helps identify the most effective answer when there are many possibilities to consider. It comes under the broader group of the evolutionary algorithms, and it is considered as one of the most effective ways to solve various optimization problems, meaning it can be applied in many different fields. GA operates through three main processes: selection, crossover, and mutation. So the first step is selection, where certain chromosomes are chosen from a larger group, which is called as the population, to be parents. Now the challenge is in deciding which chromosomes to pick up based on the criteria and how well they perform. Performance is called as the fitness. So some common methods include roulette wheel selection, rank selection, and the tournament selection. The second operation in genetic algorithm is the crossover. This is where two or more parent solutions combine to produce a new offspring, which we call as the solution. The mimics the way the traits are passed from parents to children in nature. The same idea is applied here. The idea is mixing the best part of the different solutions so we can create a better one. The common crossover methods include point crossover, K-point crossover, shuffle crossover, uniform crossover, partially mapped crossover, and average crossover. The third and the last important operation is the mutation. After crossover, the mutation process introduces small random changes to the new solution. The randomness can help explore new possibilities and find better answers. Mutation prevents the population from becoming too similar and stick to one place. So small mutation be changing 0 to 1 or 1 to 0, which helps maintaining diversity and speeding up the search for the best solution. Again, several techniques are available in mutation, which includes insert mutation, inversion mutation, scramble mutation, swap mutation, flip mutation, interchanging mutation, reversing mutation, uniform mutation, and creep mutation. Now, these particular set of three operations needs to stop. So when to stop? So the algorithm would stop if no longer it finds better solution for the set of number of attempts or when it reaches a certain limit. So the stopping condition ensures that the genetic algorithm does not run indefinitely. Now that I have cleared the key terminologies, let's move on to the experimental details where I will explain how these concepts are applied in the research. So I conducted several experiments to test how reliable and strong the algorithm is. With the rapid growth in science and technology, the internet now holds massive amount of images in the field like entertainment, education, online journals, art, remote sensing, and medical image storage. So for the study, I gathered various image size and formats from public databases. I focused on analyzing three main image types. Number one, JPEG, which is Joint Photographic Experts Group. Number two, PNG, Portable Network Graphics. And three, BMP, Bitmap Image. So the data set included images of all size and all formats. Now I tested the performance of the hybrid encryption algorithm by measuring how long it takes to encrypt, how well it hides the patterns, which is technically called correlation, the randomness of the data defined as entropy, the difference between the original and the encrypted image, technically coined as mean squared error, and the quality of the encrypted image defined as peak signal to noise ratio. I conducted this test on a computer with an Intel Pentium i5 processor running at 2.3 GHz, and the simulations were performed on MATLAB 2017B version. To discuss with you all, I took four different images. Image 1 is a standard JPEG image with dimensions 612 into 1836. The second is a large JPEG image with a mobile, which is clicked from a mobile phone with dimensions 3408 cross 7908. The third image is a .png image which dimensions 709 into 1500. And the last image is .bmp image, which is 600 into 1800. Now, all the images as explained to you is of different size. So to begin the process, we need to resize each image to 256 cross 256 pixels and convert them into grayscales, because the grayscale are easier to work with than the RGB images or the color images. Now the images are collected from the public repository. So there are so many unwanted noise or missing data. So I use random sampling and grayscale conversion to clean and prepare them for encryption. Grayscale's conversion is challenging because I need to change the contrast and the structure of the image. So to improve the RGB to grayscale conversion method to retain as much detail as possible. Once the images are converted to grayscale, they are now encrypted using the first technique, which is the modified AES encryption algorithm. To enhance the security, I use genetic algorithm to optimize the private key used in the encryption process. Additionally, I encrypted some plain text using a method called homomorphic encryption, which allows secure data processing even when encrypted. So in the AES encryption, a dynamic key called SBox strengthened the genetic algorithm process. This key helped transform the data bits in the encryption process. Now I use private key for the encryption, which is created based on two things. One, the size of the key, and second is the combined bit plane of the images. The genetic algorithm helped to determine the best setting for the key generation, which includes the number of swap, offset, and the data polarity. The algorithm started by randomly selecting a population of possible key values. So the selection is done. Now, with the process of crossover, uniform crossover was chosen and new possible keys were generated with 90% chance of success. Then the last operation of genetic, which is mutation, was applied to modify the keys with a 10% chance. So after testing different keys, the best performing one was chosen. Once the image is encrypted, the image can be decrypted only by entering the correct plain text. If a wrong plain text is entered, the system will block the decryption and show the error. So correct text and the genetic key must be entered to retrieve the original image. Once the image is encrypted, now to decrypt the image, it is simply the reverse of encryption. It involves operation like key addition, shifting rows, and byte substitution to turn the encrypted data back into the plain text. The genetic algorithm optimized key made sure the decryption process is secure. So in summary, the genetic algorithm helped me find the best encryption setting, ensuring that image remains secure and can only be decrypted with the correct key and the plain text. Now the algorithm is explained. Let us turn to the results and the performance indicators to see how it has performed. As discussed earlier, the algorithm was measured on several factors. As you see on the screen, the different values. The first factor was the encryption time. It tells how long it takes to convert an algorithm from a plain text image to a ciphertext, that is decrypted form. Images with BMP format usually take long time for conversion, but the results were better compared to the previous approaches done by other authors. The second factor is the decryption time. It refers to how long it takes to take a cipher image back to the original plain text. Again, larger image size take the longer time to perform the decryption. The third factor is entropy. Now, entropy measures the randomness in an image, which is often used to describe the texture. The level of entropy remains unaffected regardless of the image type. The next factor that you see on the screen is coefficient of correlation. It measures how two neighboring pixels are related in the original image and in the decrypted image. So after applying the proposed model, the CC value is close to 1, which indicates the original image is well preserved in the decrypted image. So you can look at the values. The next is the peak signal to noise ratio. This value or this ratio compares the maximum possible signal strength to the level of noise corruption. A higher PSNR value indicates the output image resembles the original image after the encryption and the decryption processes. The last factor is mean squared error, which measures how the pixels have been shuffled or changed in the image. It is higher for JPEG and PNG image compared to the BMP format, showing that more distortion occurs during the process. So to summarize and conclude, the main goal of this research study is to improvise the security level of the encrypted image using a hybrid cryptographic suite. The highlights of my study are: the proposed study has increased the encryption and the decryption efficiency, which are harder to break. Number 2, the proposed modified AES that helps to reduce the relationship among the image elements, algorithm, and key. It fulfills the modern cryptographic requirements. Next is better utilization of the computational memory, and the most important factor, the ensured security of the key. Now, one of the significant factors in investigating the encrypted image is the visual quality of the image, which is very well preserved. So with my particular future scope, we could explore the research to video encryption concepts, extending our work beyond the images. Developing selective encryption schemes that work for both images and video with specific design objective presents a significant challenge. Additionally, studying various diffusion models and enhancing security parameters through encryption techniques could be valuable. So through extensive experiments, I have confirmed that the hybrid encryption scheme is robust against the attacks. I hope my findings were clear and valuable. Thank you all for your attention and interest. I hope the presentation was clear and insightful. I'm grateful to the pioneers who laid the foundation and excited for the new researchers to explore these opportunities. Thank you.
ज्ञानेन सदृशं पवित्रमिह विद्यते न हि ज्ञानेन सदृशं पवित्रमिह विद्यते न हि ज्ञानेन सदृशं पवित्रमिह विद्यते